With YouTube demonetizing independent media, please consider
installing fucking adblock. Mundane Matt got my YouTube and Twitter flagged, so I'm stealing his shtick, and I'll do it better. No soy, no fat, no filler.
Monday Matt can't have sex, his belly gets in the way. Matt is a rat and a false flagger.
Welcome to Monday Matt's Special News Report, Lawsuit Edition. For our first story of the day, the legal dispute between Maddox and DickMasterson is finally over. We have the results, and the results are...
Fuck you! Maddox lost.
I hate this so much when you win. Because, first of all, does it really matter? All right? Doesn't matter. It's not a contest. This isn't a contest.
Today.
Yeah.
If you didn't follow the case, Maddox sued DickMasterson, the company DickMasterson works for, Serious Coconuts, and the company he works for, some guy that goes by Maddox, a parody of Maddox, Patreon, the company, and some guy who works at Patreon like a customer support or something. All of that got dismissed. Only one claim got dismissed without prejudice. This means Maddox is looking at paying maybe $100k in legal fees, that's suicide money, Maddox might kill himself, rope is cheap, Maddox, rope is cheap. Maddox claimed in the lawsuit that calling him a cuck and a faggot was illegal, it wasn't, he lost. Maddox is a cuck and a faggot, I can prove it, Maddox is a cuck.
Nobody gives a shit if you're a cuck. There's nothing wrong with being a cuck, and no one gives a shit.
You are a cuck, you're saying.
Yeah, Dick, the biggest cuck.
Oh
Let it go.
Oh, dude, I can't take this.
And yes, being a cuckold is a fetish. It's no worse than most fetishes that get people off. And in fact, it's actually pretty tame. There's nothing really inherently wrong with being a cuckold because the key word is that the person who's being cuckolded enjoys watching other people have sex.
Proven. The same day Maddox lost the lawsuit, he received this message on Facebook. The message said that Maddox is a cuck and that his lawsuit sucked. In response, Maddox tried to get the guy fired. He wrote to the guy employers asking why his lead technician was harassing him. So remember, next time you call Maddox a cuck and a faggot, don't use your real name, use a pseudonym. In other lawsuit news, Matt Jumbo apologized to DickMasterson for making a 30-minute video about the lawsuit that painted Dick as a criminal harasser and Maddox as a poor victim. He apologized by calling himself a man for doing so, calling Dick and others petty, implying they're only complaining to promote their Patreons, and that he caused no harm. Here's a news article that cites Monday Matt's video as a source. It paints DickMasterson and his fans as fucking criminals. It also says that DickMasterson podcast was exclusively distributed on Patreon. The lawsuit doesn't claim that, Maddox didn't claim that. The only person who ever claimed that was Monday Matt.
Really makes you think.
But was Monday Matt's video really that awful? Yes, let's go through it in this 100% fair use with commentary highlight reel.
DickMasterson. Well, you could call him, I guess, an internet personality would be a way to describe him. So over here on on Gab, he just posted a little bit ago, Maddox is filing a $20 million lawsuit against me and Patreon in New York unless Patreon removes my wildly successful account. But this lawsuit, man, this lawsuit is crazy. It's 53 pages. I'm not going to go through all of it. I've met Maddox at VidCon last summer. Good guy. I'm actually more on his side in this regard than I'm not, looking at what they're presenting, especially what they're trying to do with this $20 million lawsuit.
Time for commentary. This is commentary.
Which is interesting because he's kind of like almost essentially doxing DickMasterson, like this, kind of like notorious troll for having associations with. This is stuff that goes beyond just your standard trolling. You can see here Facebook page post from January 6th calling him a lying piece of shit. and so on and so forth. So it says here that as a result of the foregoing, Harry's canceled his sponsorship on January 9th, 2017. So you can see that this was from the 6th, and then 3 days later, the harassment campaign worked. One of the other examples given here is that defendants have also had contests to stalk and harass Maddox. For instance, defendants held a billboard contest wherein defendant Herrera asked his fans to send designs of a billboard to place near Maddox's home to harass him. And they have screenshots here. Unfortunately, like I said, we're not able to see these to look at them to verify. I'm not trying to get dox information, but just to if enough evidence is there to back the claim, this whole lawsuit's existence, I'd like to see it just to make sure that we know, as the public who are finding out about this publicly posted lawsuit, can in fact, get all the relevant data.
Now for some quick commentary. In every single video Matt Jumbo has ever made, he reads a news article, except for this one. Who told Fatso Matt about the lawsuit?
I've met Maddox at VidCon last summer. Good guy. I'm not trying to get dox information, but just to if enough evidence is there to back the claim, this whole lawsuit's existence, I'd like to see it.
Really makes you think.
Further, defendants Herrera and Kokonos have bought multiple targeted advertising campaigns on Reddit and Facebook, targeting plaintiffs or Maddox followers directly and suggesting that Maddox's fans should unsubscribe from his podcast, which is just a dick move. For example, if defendants target fans of Maddox, they can buy ads that only display to those who follow Maddox's Facebook page. Here, Kokonos explains it himself and how they did it to plaintiff from the Dick Show Reddit forum. And again, I can't bring it up to look at it, so it is kind of I guess you could say a listen and believe, but they wouldn't file this kind of lawsuit at this rate, this amount, if there wasn't, actual evidence that they had on hand. Additionally, Herrera is also using a caricature of plaintiff as the devil in his posters and advertisements. This is stuff that goes beyond just your standard trolling. So let's jump over to the Patreon thing, because this is where I find it to be interesting. So what they're trying to say through this lawsuit is that the Dick Show, by encouraging its listeners to go and harass Maddox and his girlfriend, is targeted harassment and therefore a violation of Patreon's own terms of service, of which it appears to be absolutely ignoring. I know my Patreon was specifically targeted by Zoe Quinn. This is not just I maybe said mean words on Twitter. This feels more organized and more coordinated through something that is a Patreon exclusive program. And I think that's what's going to push Patreon to basically kill DickMasterson's account, which would then cripple, DickMasterson pretty well. You start losing $18,000 a month, you're gonna feel that in your you're going to feel that in your pocketbook. On or about January 16, 2017, Patreon was notified of Herrera's harassment. On January 18th, a follow-up email to Patreon was sent, whereby plaintiff again informed Patreon of Herrera's harassment. Now, all Maddox is doing is asking Patreon to just uphold their own end. It says here he provided another follow-up on January 26th, and appears that he got nothing back from that. May 26th, he made another complaint about the escalation of harassment. June 29th, another email to make them aware of what's going on. On July 28th, contracted Patreon to make them aware if Herrera's fans were stalking and harassing Maddox in person. One of Herrera's fans left a harassing message on the sign-up sheet that Plainton made of Comic-Con. Then some fan emailed the show to talk about the harassment. And it appears that he's been contacting them repeatedly and they've done nothing. Which is weird because they kicked Lauren Southern off the platform for less, right?
So here we go. Here's how we made the decision to remove the pages of the members of Defend Europe. We removed their pages because they directly obstructed a search and rescue ship in the Mediterranean. And they made a variety of statements and outlined plans to obstruct similar rescue ships in the future. And that's a violation of a section of our content policy that prohibits creators from threatening to take or from taking action that could lead to harm or loss of life.
I believe that there clearly is levels of vengeance assigned to this particular lawsuit, but vengeance that in essence feels legally valid. Maddox also exchanged emails with Cope over the course of several months. Mr. Cope's reaction was usually that Patreon took these matters seriously and he was sorry to hear about it, and that this information would be passed on to Patreon's trust and safety team. Well, it kind of appears that Patreon's trust and safety team failed to do their job. That is precisely what Maddox wants. He just wants this account taken down. He wants Dick Masterson creating the Dick Show gone. He wants it gone. I'm actually more on his side in this regard, looking at what they're presenting, especially what they're trying to do with this $20 million lawsuit. I've met Maddox at VidCon last summer. Good guy. It does appear like the Dick Masterson show, the Dick Show, whatever, is in violation of Patreon's terms of service. Looking at this whole case, looking at everything here, I'm definitely on Maddox's side. Our actions have consequences, and if we engage in this level of trolling, it can easily migrate past the First Amendment into slander, libel, defamation, and all of these other things that can then find ourselves in the crosshairs of a potential $20 million lawsuit. And if you think for any moment that Dick Masterson might walk away from this unscathed, I would like to remind you, Gawker is no more. For not the exact same stuff, but for very, very, very similar things. So I have a feeling this won't ever go to trial. I have a feeling this will be more probably settled than anything else. But if I had to if I had to gamble on it, I would say that the Dick Masterson Patreon is probably not long for this road.
Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm.
And now to end, let's comment on a video by Tim Pool.
Dude20 says, thoughts on Maddox's frivolous lawsuit, guy who runs the best page in the universe, against Dick Masterson, Asterios, and Patreon for $20 million each. Boy, do I have a lot of thoughts on that. That is a story that no matter how I approach, I get inundated by fans of the Dick Show, either insulting or critiquing or challenging me, and then they start posting memes about me.
No! Don't meme him! No! Please!
Dictionary definition of the word bigot.
You wanna know why I fucking wear the hat? Yeah. So these motherfuckers can't fucking recognize me when I'm on the street. There's no photos of me without this.
And the reason why I'm probably not going to go anywhere near it or even comment on any of the actual claims of the case is that some fans of the Dick Show went to my Patreon account, signed up, got access to my post that was meant to go to people who are giving $10 or more, which is not a large group, it's around 200, and then screen grabbed the post, posted it to their subreddit, and then started using that to insult me and claim that I was a bad journalist and things like that. I do know for a fact that it was one of his fans because the person who posted it clicked one of the polls and I could see what number they were in the vote, and Patreon actually tells me. So I could see their email, I could see when they signed up, and they signed up and canceled right away.
That's a lie. Tim Pool is lying. He's a liar. He's a fucking liar. I know he's a fucking liar because I was the troll, motherfucker. Sorry, Dick. I pledged $10, took the screenshot, posted it on the subreddit, left a comment calling him a shit journalist, and asked if he actually had a degree, and then I received this email from Patreon. Your pledge has been removed because Teamcast, that's Tim Pool, has blocked you on their account. So did I cancel my pledge, or did you cancel my pledge, you fucking liar?
They took the post out of context as if to imply that the only way I would cover the story is if people already knew about it, as if I was asking the general population if they knew about a story instead of covering it and telling the general population about a story. I talked to Maddox 7 times in my life.
I've met Maddox at VidCon last summer. Good guy.
Really makes you think.
So when you get inundated with a bunch of people and you don't know who they are, and they start talking about something that you don't know what they're talking about, no one else is talking about it, you kind of just say, look, I have to prioritize the big story in the news.
Did you ever think you would become an expert in penises?
No, definitely not.
Right now, we're going to the Phallological Museum of Reykjavik. That basically means it's a penis museum.
The show that this guy Dick does tends to talk about Maddox all the time. Every time I talk about it, it just gets worse.
Because you're bad, you fuck up and people make fun of you for your mistakes. It's your fault, get better.
Someone from Dick's page is going to take everything I said, post it to a subreddit, and they're going to use it as fuel for their show.
In my one and only news that isn't about the lawsuit, Mr. Metaker had a live stream.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, at least I can get my leg over my fucking hip, you fat.
So can I. Fuck off.
Shut up, bitch.
Fuck off. Do you want to actually
And
fucking
you
fight?
too. Yeah, let's fight. Although I'm pretty sure heart disease and heart failure will take you out before I do, you fat fuck.
Oh my god, it's just people yelling over each other. It doesn't. It's not cohesive. It's just yelling and like I want to kill myself right now. Like it's so gay.
It was funny. Link in the description. And to finally finish this fucking video, this is the cringe of the week, motherfucker.
So we're going to talk about the top 3 stories of the day, and there's no real, it's just my opinion.
Maddox is a writer